Then I found out my husband was having an affair for 6 months. She was 19. And a lot of other weird Snapchat accounts, being on steroids, lots of other women. The list goes on. His hotels and his second phone were all booked under the name Daniel, which was obviously not his name. Daniel became his alter ego, if you will. So much so that he even told his 19-year-old girlfriend his name was Daniel. She didn't even learn his real name until she went on vacation with him and her family months later. When he passed out, very on a boat. Not even. And when she found his ID in his wallet, it was understandably shocking to learn that her boyfriend's name was in fact not Daniel, but I digress. Obviously, I filed for divorce and left it.
Yes,
and
queen.
yes, the legal fees in my divorce financially devastated me, but whatever, I was f***ing free. Sold my engagement ring and took a solo life-changing trip to Europe. And ended up writing a little book about it all. That book has now been read by hundreds and thousands of women around the world, helping them take their power back and heal. And my ex-husband? I named his character Daniel.
Yes!
A petty legacy is what we're going for.
So about 6 or 7 years ago now, I was dating somebody who I should not have been dating. We're talking about mentally and emotionally manipulative, socially manipulative. And so finally we were breaking up. We were breaking up for good. Like, it wasn't one of those on again, off again anymore. It was done. And I was at his house because while I was there hanging out and he was at work, I had found out he was cheating on me. Long, complicated story, but I'd found out when he wasn't there. So I immediately knew that I had to get my revenge right then while he was gone, and he would have to find out when he got home, and when he got home and I wasn't there, and he would reach out to me to find out where I went, I could lay down the law. So this guy worshipped his YouTube. He worshipped it. He would play it on his big, gigantic flat screen all day long, and he had curated his algorithm so perfectly that it would never ever play anything that he didn't want to see. It would play vlogs and fitness videos all day long. He constantly bragged about how perfect he had gotten this like feed to be, and how he never even had to change or skip a video at all because all it ever played was exactly how he wanted, because he was so dedicated to like making this algorithm perfect. So I went onto his YouTube and I unsubscribed him from every channel that I knew was his favorite. Not only did I unsubscribe him from channels that I knew were his favorite, but then I went and I resubscribed him to like mommy vlogs and makeup videos and unboxing stuff for like beauty delivery boxes. I went ham. I unsubscribed him from channels that I knew he had followed for years. Unsub. Then I went onto his Netflix account, and this was back when you could rate with like a star as opposed to a thumbs up, thumbs down. I went onto his Netflix account and I 1-star rated all of the movies that I knew he really, really loved. And I 4-star rated all the movies that I'd been with him and he'd watched and he'd hated. And I wrecked those algorithms. I wrecked them. The best part though was a couple of weeks later when I went by to pick something up, it was one of his like, I found a hair of yours, do you want to come get it? Like attempts to get me to come back over. And from outside of the door, I could hear him going, what the is going on? Oh my God. And I heard him like throw his remote. He could not figure out what was going on with his YouTube and why it kept showing him all these like mommy and family blogs. He was so irate. He like could hardly even speak, but it didn't even occur to him, not one time, that I had anything to do with that. And to this day, I don't think he knows. And to this day, I doubt he's gotten his algorithms back to where they were before. So enjoy.
Wow, that is diabolical. You're not just being petty, you're with the algorithms. That is like a next level torment.
So my father cheated on my mother, and got his pregnant. Well, I decided to wait until it was time for him to do his sermon about loyalty in the household. And while he was in the pulpit, I went over to my buddy who was in charge of the PowerPoint, and I was like, here you go, here's the new file for the PowerPoint. And he didn't think anything of it because, of course, that's my dad preaching about loyalty. And then all you see are pictures of him cheating on my mother on the PowerPoint in front of the entire church. Good times. Good times.
So for those of you who cheat or have cheated, haven't been caught cheating yet, there are consequences.
So my ex broke up with me the night before we were supposed to leave for Florida for one of his high school friends' weddings. Now, that being said, that means that he broke up with me less than 24 hours before he left for a long weekend, which was a mistake. All of my friends and family very much wanted to destroy things that he owned. I did not feel like that was the correct course of action. However, I did decide to pack up everything he owned into 31 small-sized boxes from Home Depot. That, and I mixed up everything in those boxes. Kitchen was in with office, with clothes. I split up every pair of socks and every pair of shoes he owned and put them in separate boxes. I also labeled nothing. I then packed them all in front of the apartment and said, you can come pick up your boxes when you're ready. Don't leave after breaking up with someone. It's cowardly, and you deserve what you got.
Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah. The fact that she's even putting them in boxes for you is a nice thing to do.
So I was dating this guy when I was 18, and he was, first of all, he lied about his age, but he was 34. And he talked me into moving out of my parents' house and moving in with him, yada, yada, yada. He was cheating on me the whole time, didn't know because I was dumb. Anyways, after he put me all through that torture and I moved all of my belongings into his house, about 2 months later, he kicked me out to let his other move in. So I got drunk with my cousin, broke into his house and put on his toothbrush.
Oh.
And then sorry Darren, we hooked up one time after that, and I was at his house and I saw him brushing his teeth with the toothbrush on.
Ew!
So I was dating this guy who broke up with me after like 2 months, and he was obsessed with taking baths in his jetted tub. So when I gave him a box of his stuff back, I also threw in a bath bomb that was full of glitter, and I took the label off so he couldn't read it. And he wasn't really happy, and he was texting me how upset he was to go to work covered in glitter, and I just responded to all of his text messages with pictures of Edward from Twilight. And then I covered his entire gravel driveway in a big thing of glitter. So that every time he walks in his house, he tracked glitter in. And then I also put his phone number into the eHealth website for health insurance quotes, and he probably got 200 phone calls. And I also decorated his house with happy birthday banners because he forgot to call me on my birthday. And now we're married and having a baby.
Whoa! The plot twist of the century! Hey, at least you had a sense of humor about it.
My mom did this to my dad. So basically my mom found out about something. They ended up separating. But during this time, like, my dad hadn't moved out of the house yet. So he was sleeping in a different bedroom on the other side of our house on the first floor. So every morning my mom would set an alarm for 3 or 4 a.m., wake up, walk downstairs, and then when she got towards like his side of the house, she would army crawl into his bedroom, and she would cut like a button off of his shirt or like a little tear somewhere in the outfit that he had laid out for the following day. And this like with him, because he takes a lot of pride in like his appearance and how he looks and everything. And this petty man, I'm so happy she's my mom.
Wow, petty parents! I love that it's like a grown-ass woman.
I made it my mission in life to destroy his mental well-being and his self-esteem over the course of maybe 3 or 4 months. I spent my life trying to make myself into somebody else in the form of probably 20 to 30, maybe even 40 fake profiles on all these different websites that he was on, using different pictures that were publicly available on the internet, and proceeded to make different personalities for each of them. Yes, it was obsessive. Yes, it was sick, and I spent entirely way too much time in my life doing this, but at the time it felt good to make this man feel bad. And I sent him on many ghost dates. And on these dates, these women would supposedly show up, see his face, and suddenly change their mind. And he kept falling for this over and over and over and over. I don't know why. He just kept going. So I upped the ante every time. And it got to the point where I got him to get a hotel room. And I made sure he was there. I had a friend follow him and double check. He went in, checked in, came out and waited in the car. and she never showed. I don't understand this man. I don't understand why he didn't catch on, but this went on for months, and after a while I got kind of bored and I just kind of, all these women just fell off the face of the planet. He ended up having to go to counseling. My bad.
Yeah, you're bad, okay? All right. You know, we're supposed to be funny about this stuff, okay? You're supposed to have a sense of humor about it. You had me until the counseling. Let's not take it this far. That is a very sour and bitter lemon, okay? Let's not be meanies. But you can be petty without being mean. Right?